Migrant
si registrerà la conferenza.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar Migrant Entrepreneurship, Stories and Practice on How to Unlock Hidden Potential for EU Economies. My name is Luca Merotta, and I'm researcher and project manager at the ISMO Foundation, where I'm responsible for the EU Africa Migration Program. The ISMO Foundation is an independent research institute based in Milan that conducts research, organizes trainings, and runs projects on migration and integration. Over the past 5 years, through the EU Africa Migration Program, the ISMO Foundation has inquired the complex interconnection between migration and development, with migrant entrepreneurship being just one of its many manifestations. Today's webinar is organized in the framework of the BITE project, Building Integration Through Entrepreneurship. The project is funded by the European Union through the Commission DG GROW and has been implemented in Italy, Sweden, and Greece since early 2019. In the research and practice community, there is a long-standing consensus that migrants actively contribute to the economic growth of both host countries and countries of origin in many ways. For instance, by bringing with them knowledge as well as social and financial capital. From this perspective, entrepreneurship can help deliver the so-called triple win effect by enabling migrant integration, socioeconomic growth in the host countries, and the development of countries of origin. However, as the OECD notes, in the political and societal debates, migrants are rarely seen as contributing to entrepreneurial activity and employment creation in their host countries. Likewise, policymakers have only recently started leveraging the potential of entrepreneurship for the development of regions of origin, including Africa. Of course, it is not a bed of roses. The survival rate of migrant businesses is often lower than that of the native counterparts, and the impact of COVID-19 on migrant-led businesses is no less dramatic than the impact on other types of businesses. Looking beyond this global crisis, if we want to build resilient societies, we need to acknowledge and empower migrant entrepreneurs as key actors who contribute to European economies with their soft skills, knowledge, and transnational networks. Today's webinar aims to help deliver this new narrative by showcasing some of the most innovative practice on migrant entrepreneurship in Europe. The webinar is organized around 3 sections. First, you will hear about how the BITE project promoted migrant entrepreneurship over the past 2 years, and you will learn about the evidence that was collected on what makes projects and programs effective and impactful. Then, you will see the human side of BITE by listening to the stories of one mentor and one entrepreneur. Finally, you will put migrant entrepreneurship into perspective by listening to 3 innovative projects. Before giving the floor to the first speaker, allow me to give you some practical information. The webinar will last approximately 1 hour and a half. It is currently being recorded, and it will be made available online through the BITE YouTube channel. I invite all participants to turn off their cameras and microphones, as only the speakers will keep their camera on. You can address your questions by using the chat on the right side and by sending a direct message to one of the chairs of the sessions. We will hold a Q&A session at the end of all presentations. Thank you, and I wish you a fruitful webinar.
Good afternoon, everybody on my side. Thank you very much, Luca, for introducing this webinar, for your presentation, and thank all of you for participating in this webinar that we propose to call Migrant Entrepreneurship, Stories and Practices on How to Unlock Hidden Potential for EU Economies. I do have a presentation I would like to share with you. So I might just take a moment to share my presentation with you. And I don't know if you can see it already, or maybe not. Okay, I don't know if you maybe look at the, you need to give me the permission to show content. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. Can you see my screen maybe? Okay, here it is. So the concept of BITE was supporting the potential of migrant entrepreneurship in EU local economies, as Luca said before. And we decided to set up this partnership and work in 3 different countries. As you can see in here, the partnership is present in Italy, in Sweden, and in Greece. Etimos Foundation is a foundation based in Italy and operating in 4 continents, mainly dedicating to access to finance and financial inclusion to support development of the private sector in emerging and developing countries. And we decided to set up this partnership with the city of Milan in Italy, with the E4Impact Foundation, which is a spin-off foundation of the Catholic University of Milan, with ISMO Foundation, which is represented by that Luca just introduced a few minutes ago, and with ERFC in Sweden, and Integra, I'm sorry, ERFC in Greece, and Integra in Sweden. Why are we talking about hidden potential when we refer to migrant entrepreneurship? We believe that even if migrant entrepreneurship represents about 10% in EU most developed, in terms of GDP in most developed regions of Europe, it is still very little known, very little shown, and even less probably supported. That's why we decided to address this component of our own society, of the economy, and trying to understand if there is flow to support this economy, which has got a very important impact, both in terms of economy, but probably more in terms of social and environmental impact. And why we decided to work in Italy, in 2 regions of Italy, Milan and Veneto, and then Greece and Sweden, because these are very different territories, notably Italy and Greece are 2 approaching countries for migrants, with different moments of migration waves in the 2 countries. And Sweden, as we all know, is a country, a typical destination country for migrants looking both for migrants looking for international protection, but also economic migrants looking for better condition of life. So that's why we decided to work in these 3 different countries. And the European Commission decided to support our program. That's why BITE is supported by the DG Growth of the European Commission. So you might understand that working in partnership with DG Growth, we're addressing probably more of the impact within the European Union, rather than the impact of migrant entrepreneurship in relation with the country of origin, which is still there, and it is very very important at the same time. That is why working with migrants living in Europe and doing business in Europe, there's always a very strong link with the country of origin, which is very much represented by the entrepreneurs. And so this is a very easy description of the scheme which we used, which is nothing different from maybe a few other projects around Europe that are emerging in terms of support to migrant entrepreneurship. So we have been working with outreach and selection of migrant participants through local authorities, municipalities, migrant associations, and civil society organizations, which allowed us to identify an interesting number of participants that we lately train and coach through this program to building entrepreneurial skills and shaping business projects. We did that through two different moments. One is through training programs in small classes, and the second moment through a dedicated mentoring and financial inclusion activity. This second activity for us has represented a very pivotal moment, since we set up a team of experts able to create a customized and tailor-made solution for each business project. Basically, we created a team of experts which shaped a dedicated program for each project, for each entrepreneurs. And so from this aspect, we can understand that probably this is a process we cannot industrialize in a way, but needs to be more considered as a consulting scheme for each project. We believe this is an approach which guarantees in a way success in the setting up of the business, which is already a difficult path for the entrepreneur. And then there is this another component of the project we believe is quite crucial, is the setting up of a toolbox. It is an interactive instrument that has been set up and it is available on the web. Why did we decide to do this? There are three answers to the why question. First is to enable further replication of the project. This is one of the reasons why we decided also to organize this webinar today, to deal with you, colleagues, partners, and local authorities and civil society organizations around Europe. So thank you very much for participating in this webinar and sharing with us your experience, and maybe providing inputs or comments on what we're doing. The second is to connect businesses with investors. We understood that the connection between businesses, entrepreneurs, and investors is very difficult, and even the most promising businesses are facing very hard times in identifying investors that can believe in their business and to do business with. So we believe we set up a platform to connect the best businesses with potential investors in a peer-to-peer methodology. And the third answer to the why question is to guarantee a long-term follow-up to businesses. In this portal of businesses, it showcases the state of the art of each business, of each enterprise. This allows us as a project implementer to follow up in the long term the businesses and see how the business is growing in the next months and years. Then to whom is the toolbox addressed? The toolbox is addressing local authorities and CSOs, civil society organizations across the EU. It is basically an instrument, a set of instruments that you can use if you really want to adopt them, maybe customize them and use it in your own territory. If you find Byte as a good example or as a good starting point to replicate this action, if you want to address the topic of migrant entrepreneurship in your own community, you can pick the ones you prefer, you can adapt it and make it work for your own territory. And how? It is a set of multimedia and app solutions that are available through videos, description, and application for mobile phones that are available with different features in the 3 different countries. So basically, this will provide a set of information available for entrepreneurs which are, of course, different in the three different countries. I'm going pretty fast on this since there are many other colleagues that are going to speak after myself. But instead of talking about the good points, the strengths of our project, and of course we had more than 100 participants, unique business proposals, incredible impact that we foresee for the businesses. So we're very glad and happy to work in this framework. But highlighting weaknesses more useful in a webinar to share with colleagues and partners. So we understood that most of the times migration is still considered in the framework of social policies rather than the economic ones. So when we deal with this and we speak with colleagues and local authorities on local organization, and we speak about migration, most of the times people understand that we're referring to social policies, whereas in this framework we're very much dealing with economic development and support to the private sector. Okay, so probably there's still some work to be done in the way we communicate our work. The second point is a very difficult connection with traditional SMEs. We believe that there's a strong potential in the connection, the link between migrant entrepreneurship and traditional SMEs based for a long time in our countries. And unfortunately, this connection, which in our view could create a very important value, it is very difficult to be implemented. So still a communication issue we could address probably more and better. And then there is a last point is there are no dedicated financial schemes to support the migrant entrepreneurship businesses, the migrant businesses. And for us as Etimos Foundation, we do have an expertise on this, but still we understand that there are no dedicated financial tools and instruments. Microcredit is there, but it's not enough, of course, and guarantee schemes are not very much dedicated to migrant businesses. So the financial world probably still has a lot to do to address this very peculiar economy, which represents 10% of our GDP in many regions of Europe, and but which needs dedicated tools. Okay, and the last point is that we, as you can see, BITE means building integration through entrepreneurship. And working with all these entrepreneurs in the three countries, we understood that probably the word integration, as it was conceived and defined in the past, is not more appropriate to describe the situation we face today. I'm quoting here a definition of integration from Migration Policy Institute, which says the process by which migrants become accepted into society, both as individuals and as groups. And we believe this is very much not the case anymore, of people to be accepted into society. But more, we believe that through a process of co-creation, even through entrepreneurship, we can shape new economies through collaborative business, which involves entrepreneurs with different backgrounds, skills, and capacities. And we believe this will create new social and economic values in our society. So this is a consideration that we made, and we pretty much believe in this. So thank you very much. I'll leave the floor to the other colleagues for the next sections. So thank you very much, you all, for participating in this webinar. And of course, the floor will be open for questions after the three session. Thank you very much.
Andrea, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Sorry. Just I followed all the conversation, all the pitch of Davide. In the moment, it was my turn. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get in anymore. But anyway, thank you everyone, and thank you and Luca and Davide for the work and the presentation you advanced. I'm part of the E4Impact Foundation. Just briefly, is a foundation which train entrepreneurs in Africa. We are in more than 14 countries, and so we had the role to support ISMU, Etimos, and the other our partners of the consortium to train the entrepreneurs here in Europe. So as Luca said, as Luca anticipated, I'm going to present a couple of our guests who will join. We are already here, and we'll talk a bit about their experience that they had during the bite training. So one is Muner, and who is a mentor and from Sweden, and the other one is Lucio Fontana from Italy, who has been one of our let's say students. So here we are, and I would like to first introduce Lucio, and if Lucio, you want to present yourself and tell us a bit of your experience, please.
Wonderful. Good evening to everybody. I hope you can hear me well. In the meantime, I'll be brief to set up. Okay, here we are. So, just a second. My name is Lucio Fontana, as Andrea, Mrs. Sottini introduced me. I am one of the students of the Bike project in Milano, which was a wonderful experience, I could say. I am Italian from father's side and Ugandan, so African on my mother's side. So I can say that the integration for me during the bite experience was a little bit different probably from the rest of my colleagues, because I have been living in Italy all my life. Therefore, integration in the Italian society wasn't my goal, but what it helped me to integrate was actually with the African diaspora in Italy, which was quite intriguing to me, and I think that was one of the most interesting experience I've had so far with my African colleagues. Second, I'd like to thank ISMU Foundation, Etimos Foundation, and E4Impact that helped us during this course. I have been studying. I cannot define myself as an entrepreneur, but I am an aspiring one. I have been working as a member of a cooperative that works with transportation and disability. So I already knew lots of concepts that had been shown and explained to us during the bite experience. But I think it still helped me to reinforce them and to analyze into depth some of them. And let me talk about our project, by the way, that we managed with the bite process to give a birth to. Okay, I hope you can see. Yeah, well, okay. I'm showing you Jicho project. Jicho is a Kiswahili word. Some friends who are now listening from East Africa, maybe, or have East African origins might know what this means. This means I, and the reason is we decided to call this new service we'd like to provide is because it's a advertisement on movement. So we started as when I say we, is me and my other colleagues, members of our small company, small cooperative. We were running a restaurant, and we had decided to advertise it through some yeah, well, through some panels running on buses, on normal public buses. But we didn't get, let's say, enough leads of what we were looking for. We were a little bit unsatisfied. I am sorry I'm showing you all the images in Italian, but I'll try to convey the message in English as much as I can. So we decided, what is the problem? I mean, what can we focus on? What other service can we deliver? So we focused on what were our needs, which is bisogni in Italian. You can see right here. Our bisogni focus, or our needs, were to have a low-cost advertisement, an advertisement that could be moving and could be always geolocalized and available 24/7. So that's where we came up with Giccio project. Let me show you a video of what it is about. So, well, probably most of you that are listening now are familiar with traditional advertisement. We were a little bit unsatisfied, as I said, from my brief experience. So we decided to check out what other companies were already offering on the market, and we got a quite interesting idea from the West Coast of the United States, where there were some companies that were showing advertisement on movement on ride-hailing vehicles. So as our company takes care of transportation, black car transportation, black livery services, we decided, why not? I mean, we could deliver a similar service. So we decided to start or bring up the Giccio project during the Byte experience. And let me give you some information about it. Well, who buys our service? Our service is targeted for normally small, medium enterprises, small businesses, professional corporations, and political parties. How would we sell our service? Well, basically, much of it would be sold, on the internet. That would be the fastest way and the easiest way we think that our business model could grow. How and where would we provide our service? Who would be the partners? Well, first of all, we are in delivery service field, so we would use our vehicle, called as well in Italy NCC. We would partner as well with the taxi businesses. So in Italy, they're white traditional taxis. And last but not least, with car sharing. This would be our first step. Another way, so eventually we would move as well on another level of partnership, which would be with public transportation. And let me get into the cost of it, just briefly to illustrate. We would, each package companies would buy from us would be showing a rotating advertisement, just like I showed you in the video, of around 30 seconds per hour. So each company that would buy our service would be showing its advertisement for 30 seconds every hour on one of our vehicles. Well, the budget to start this project is actually not that high. We are looking for an initial investment of around 10,000 euros, and this would cater for 5 cars driving around Milano. This would be our initial city, but of course we are willing to upscale and get all over Italy, and then eventually also to get to our beloved continent, the African continent as well. But the initial cost would be of around 10,000 euros. And the most appealing part, and I'm saying this for any investor, business angel who could be listening to this conversation and presentation, is that we are actually the first ones who would pitch and service this product. There is no other competitor on the market as far as we know till now on the Italian market. So we would sneak in or launch our service on the market by guaranteeing a strategy, I would say a strong strategy, by having a relationship with all taxis, car sharing, and black livery services. Okay, and well, this is basically all. Thank you for listening to me, and if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Lucio, for your wonderful presentation. I think it's very interesting, your cooperative. So please, if anyone has a question, please, this is the time, even because then Lucio in some later should leave us. So this is the time to take the chance to ask Lucio some questions, please.
Don't be shy.
No.
Hello, sorry, my name is Roland. Are you hearing me, please?
Yes, I can hear you, Roland.
Yeah, please, you talk of moving this in African country. Have you succeeded in doing that, please? And which African country has this been moved to?
Right. Well, Roland, thank you for your question. I'd like to underline as first point that we are just at a first stage. We haven't launched our services yet. Nonetheless, we would plan, first of all, to launch here on the Italian market, see how eventually the market reacts to that, and then the, let's say, second step could be moving to other countries. In Africa, that is a good question. Well, I don't want to be too much patriotic, but we would love starting from East Africa, from Uganda, where I'm actually partly from. And how would we move? Well, same way that we showed you during our presentation. We would start by partnering with local drivers, ride-hailing drivers, such as Uber, Bolt, Ori Rides, and some others that are present on the African continent, and that would be our first way to enter the market over there. And similarly, we would extend it to other African countries.
And sorry, I am from Nigeria. We like to be part of it when we want to be extended, to Nigeria. And I don't know, maybe I can contact you later just to talk more and better.
It would be my pleasure, definitely. Yes, we can definitely get into contact, and why not?
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you for your intervention. We have a question from Armelle. If you want to join us and ask directly, please.
Okay, hello, and thanks for giving me the floor. I was wondering, when you explained your business projects, very interesting, thank you. What specifically did the BITE project help you to solve? You said it helped you. What was the obstacle that you faced to develop this business?
Okay, thank you, Mel, for your question. Well, as I said before, perhaps I was a little bit quick on that. Once we decided to apply for the BITE, let's say, studying period, we were actually focused on having eco-sustainable clothing made by a special texture found in Eastern Africa. I think what BITE helped us most is to focus on how we could break down all obstacles with this type of service, which was eco-clothing, and to go for a service just like Gicho is, which was faster to capture the market. Therefore, in addition to that, I think Byte helped us a lot through the fact that I honestly already knew a lot of information that Byte was providing because, of course, of my previous study. But I think that Byte helped us a lot to analyze into depth what would have been the mistakes, or what still are the possible mistakes we can face by entering the market in a non-aggressive way. I hope I answered your question.
You did. I understand it is the fact it was very individualized and tailor-made to your project that helped, in fact.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Armelle.
I'll just. Thank you, Armelle.
Hello?
Please move.
Do you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Yes.
Yes. I really didn't have a question, but I would like to thank you for your presentation and try to. I was amazed because I've been in so many European and African countries. I've traveled quite a lot. And I think that idea would prosper in so many countries, especially the countries where that branch of advertisement is not very advanced. So let's get in touch. Good work.
Yes, please. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so if there is no any other question, probably we can move to the second our guest, who is Muner. So she has already taken the floor, so she can proceed with her presentation and her experience. Meanwhile, just to conclude with Lucio, I would like to say that Lucio has the contact, gave the contacts to us. Probably he can even type on the chat. So if anyone wants to get in touch with him, he will be there. Okay. So thank you, Lucio, again for your time. Really appreciate it. Now the floor is yours. Please.
Yes, thank you very much. And I want to thank everyone for making this possible and this webinar. I would like again want to thank both the technical team and all the players who have made it possible with the hard job that they have done. Wonderful. Want to thank you for that, to make this happen today. And I just want to make clear, I'm both, a coach and I'm an entrepreneur. So to just be clear, so I'm doing two roles in one. My name is Muna Hasler. In this brief presentation, I would like to try to convey an overview of myself, the Byte project, my vision, and the entrepreneurial ideas. Being part of the building integration through entrepreneurship project has been a sort of being part of this building and integration, and it has been part of my ordinary orientation of my personal history. Myself, having a background from various countries and cultures, the nation of integration has been closely linked to my personal history. Being born in Somalia, growing up in Kenya, getting married in Switzerland, and working as an educationalist in Sweden, I have, though my life experience that comes to know that being able to understand the different cultures, languages, modes of interacting is a key feeling of part of a new surroundings and being successful. Living in different parts of the world has also made it clear to me that priority and well-being of society is based on people having possibilities of creating their future through entrepreneurship. At a core, entrepreneurship is about creating positive ideas, values as needed. An internal part of the entrepreneurship is also about establishing local national and international networks. Technology has also truly accelerated the globalization, where sharing the knowledge and creating trade is no longer a boundaries or time or distance. For the bike project, it is connecting all the dots of my experiences and visions to stimulate entrepreneurship and sharing knowledge thereof, particularly for the sub-Sahara thereafter migrants in Europe, has been the specific objective of this project. And my own decision to become an entrepreneur stems from many series of inspiration. One of these causes, it is the determination and the dedication of so many women to find their own path of seeking solutions to life challenges. And entrepreneurship, empowering women, is also a true source of inspiration. Being an entrepreneur is also a way of channel of my own creative ideas and a great way to improve the life conditions of many people. I am currently working on 3 main projects in Sweden with the help of course, the bike project in Sweden. And we are trying to work with small projects like smart farming for women entrepreneurs. And we are also now starting up an entrepreneurship for youth and to have special skills to start small businesses. The third idea that we are now launching soon is also to start small businesses for people who are disabled. And we have so many immigrants that have immigrated from different part of the sub-Sahara, and most of them are women and who are not very highly skilled when it comes to education. So this, I think, was a good alternative. Most of them are born entrepreneurs, like my grandmother. You know, you don't go to school to be an entrepreneur. You get it, you know, in the blood. And as known to so many sub-Saharan countries, women are doing however little businesses to make ends meet for their families. So that is why it is a core idea to make it this dream and come true in a very advanced country like Sweden, where technologies and bureaucracy is quite high. And through that, I think that the BITE has done a lot of good work and to get both skills and the traditional skills in Sweden to start businesses, and of course to guideline and the different processes and the different processes, of course, and the government bureaucracy in different fields for these immigrants. I would just like to go back a little bit, and apart from these 3 business ideas, and there are so many sub-Saharan women who are very hand-skilled and are very good, but because of the bike project, I think it has also helped us to mentor them to start their small, you know, gifts and that they took from home, their skills that they came with, and in the current countries like Sweden. So I really do think that this has been a good help and a good start for both the entrepreneurs, the women, and the youth, of course, both men and women, of course. And then the inspiration, I wouldn't like to let this out of my presentation, because there is an African storyteller that is based in Africa, somewhere in sub-Sahara, and he used to tell small kids about the story of a bird that is called colibri. And my inspiration comes from there, in fact, to be an entrepreneur, because this bird one day saw a burning forest, a huge burning forest, And what this bird did was she went, took some water in her small mouth, and tried to put off, fire with this little drop of water. So the animals were surprised, and of course the people. How did this bird even think about to put a drop of water to put off kilometers of burning fire? And of course, I just want to take that as an inspiration. And then the answer was wonderful. The answer from the bird was, I'm doing, of course, my best. So from that inspiration, I think that for sub-Saharan entrepreneurs, especially Sweden, the country where I'm settled and working, circumstances to start business was very, very difficult for foreigners. And I think I have mentioned several times that the bureaucracies, the taxes, and all the other bureaucratical steps are very difficult to start business in this country compared to the sub-Saharan countries. So I think the BITE project was a lifesaver for many of these small entrepreneurs. And with the help of our guidance, I think that we have done a wonderful work, and we are still continuing to mentor, and we are soon opening. In fact, I think in 2-3 months, in my business, we are opening up small centers and to help them with different skills, and some of them are very successful today and are already in market and trying now. The second step is how to market their products. So I don't want to be too long with my presentation. I would just like to add, maybe, I know people are going to ask me, as entrepreneur, an African woman with so many backgrounds. I came from Somalia. My parents are born in the northern part of Somalia. I left when I was a kid of 6 years old, and so I migrated to Kenya. That was the first migration, and then I did my studies and did the first degree in Kenya, and then I had to move again with my family to very far this northern part of the world, and I've been living here from 1990. And as an entrepreneur, I can say that it was very, very difficult for us, without any help, to start businesses in Sweden. And as well as, it is a foreign country, and but at the same time, it is very high technological country, whereby business is done completely differently. So there were so many challenges. I don't have so much. I would like to take some of the challenges here, but I know that I'm running out of time. I have a lot of challenges and a lot of stories to tell. I don't have so much time. I would like to thank you very much with this short presentation, and I would like you to ask as many questions as you can come on. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening, everybody.
Many thank you, Muner, with your intervention, your experience. Of course, then for the questions, there is a Q&A section, okay, in the end of this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. And I welcome everybody to the session 3 of the webinar, and I'm Silvia Ferla, the head of unit City-to-City Cooperation of the Municipality of Milan, and I'm very pleased of coordinating this roundtable virtually. And I hope that through this session we can highlight some different perspectives of migrant entrepreneurship through different voices that will tell you about 3 different projects. So before starting with the single presentation of the project, I'll give you a very short perspective from a local authority, so the Milan perspective. So how a city can and why a city is working on migrant entrepreneurship. Sorry, can you hear me?
We do hear
yes,
perfectly.
Please.
Yes, we do.
Okay, because
Yes,
I
yes,
can't
yes.
hear. Okay, I'm sorry. Something happened to my
We can
screen.
see your screen too. We can see your screen too.
Okay, because something happened.
Just put the right screen because we see the empty screen.
You see the empty screen. Okay. I'm sorry. I had a background PowerPoint,
This is
and
now,
I think. Okay, it's on the screen.
Mainstream immigration, we see it.
Okay, okay, thank you. It's just a screen of background that explain a bit and gives an idea of what we've been through the past years as municipality. So just to show you, okay, physically something that we've been working on. So good. I think you can see it. Okay. I would start just talking about why a city is involved in a project like BITE, and how can be the role, how a city can really promote migrant entrepreneurship. So first of all, migration and development is one of the main fields of a city strategy like Milan, because first of all, Milan is a multi-ethnic city. Diaspora association also and foreign entrepreneurship are very active and very important for the territory, including students from other countries. And moreover, the Diaspora Association in Lombardy region are around 315, so quite consistent. And in this context, the municipality promotes not only services and projects addressing reception, protection, inclusion, and social cohesion of migrants in need, but also non-European culture activities, events, and spaces for educational initiatives and cultural activities also, and migration and development projects, processes, networks related to the following areas mainly. Co-development, the City of Milan and the City-to-City Cooperation Unit is involved in a long-term experimental program called Milan for Co-Development, in order to enhance the role of migrants as agents of development in their countries of origin and of social cohesion in their areas of residence. For example, since 2007, the municipality supported approximately 70 projects implemented by diaspora associations and Italian NGOs. So this is just to say that we were involved in the process since a long time, and we are still working on networks and projects. We are promoting the participation of the municipality in national dialogue, for example, the National Summit of Diasporas. We are working on two different keywords, and we have worked a lot on the idea and on the importance of these two keywords, partnership and also changing the narrative. So, for example, related to partnership, we are working with local diaspora association and the stakeholders, strategic institution, the civil society, all the organization of the territory, for example, consular offices, diplomatic delegations, public sector, private sectors, Chamber of Commerce, and on the national side. And on the international side, we are working also with networks, so international networks, international organizations. For example, we are working with IOM, and we are constantly dialoguing with IOM, for example, on the theme of mainstream migration, so tackling different aspects and multi-sectoral strategy on migration. So this is just to say that the idea of a city is just to promote an environment which is open to dialogue and to share ideas, to create connections, and through the participation in networks, in a project, we are experimenting some pilots that at national level maybe can influence also the policy. So for example, we are working in projects that you will see in a few minutes. Miss Collini will talk about also the CIMI in project in which also the municipality is partner, and it's just focusing on social entrepreneurship as an enabling environment for migrants. For example, we are experimenting some project on circular migration, on skill-based mobility partnership, for example. So this is just a few of the things that can be put on the table of discussion. And now I would just give the floor to the three speakers. And first, I would like to invite Olivia Spazzini Villa from the SINGA Italia, and we'll talk about the Enterprise for Integration project. So it's over to you, Olivia. Thank you.
Thank you, Silvia. Let me share my screen with you. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Silvia. Thank you to Fondazione ISMU for inviting me to speak today. So my name is Olivia Spazzini. I'm the co-founder of SINGA Italia, which is an organization supporting migrant and refugee entrepreneurs to launch their businesses in Milan. So today I'm here to tell you a bit more about the Enterprise for Integration program, which is a program funded by JP Morgan Foundation and that we implemented in partnerships with Fondazione Soleterre, the lead partner, Per Micro, a microfinance institution, Unione Artigiani, and Fondazione Sodalitas. So the project started in 2018. So it's been running for a couple of years, and the aim of the project is to support the migrant and refugee entrepreneur in Milan and province, offering a number of services. Actually, as opposed to the BITE project, we did not have any restrictions in terms of the country of origin of the entrepreneur. Nor the type of businesses ideas that we could support through the project, which had negatives and positives. In my opinion, it really allowed us to have a bigger pool of candidates, And of course, this meant that participants did not speak language. I mean, this is why we were actually quite strict during the selection phase regarding the level of Italian. So participants were required to have a minimum of B1 Italian, which I think was quite an important factor to ensure that participants could connect, could share and learn from each other, and really build a community. During the selection phase, we paid particular attention also to their motivation, so whether they had the willingness and capacity to participate in a program that for some of them would have lasted up to 9 months. So I think it's also important to be very upfront about the commitment and really try to share as much information as possible before the start of the program, so that participants have a clear understanding of the journey ahead, what they can really get out of the program, and if the program is a good fit for them. And of course, we evaluated their business ideas through a mix of written application and in-person interviews. So as you can see in the slide, selected participants could access a number of services that were offered by the partners. We provided the project provided legal and bureaucratic assistance through Unione Artigiani, which is an organization that has a very long tradition in supporting micro and small enterprises on these topics. We at SINGA provided business training and incubation through our SINGA Business Lab, which is an incubator for newcomer entrepreneurs. We actually structured the program in 2 phases. We had what we called a pre-incubation, so like a 3 months training on business model canvas. So the idea was to allow all the aspiring entrepreneurs to do a first test of their ideas. We then had a second selection through a selection panel. Basically, participants could pitch their ideas to an external panel, and then that were there to evaluate their business ideas. And then some of them could access the actual incubation, which is a longer training, like 5 months, much more in-depth support. They could access additional thematic workshops on various themes like HR, communications, marketing, business plan. So I think this 2 steps process was actually worked very well, and it's something that I would definitely recommend, because it really allows you to provide general business and entrepreneurship training to a bigger number of people, of entrepreneurs, but then also provide tailored support to those that have a sound business ideas and are much more likely to actually set up and launch a business in the short term. One thing that I want to discuss today is and one challenge that we wanted to tackle through the project was the issue of isolation, which we think can really be one of the biggest barriers that migrant entrepreneurs have to face when they set up a business in a new country. I mean, as most people who move to another country, they lack the social capital that is actually fundamental for everyone who wants to launch a new enterprise. And from the experience of being an entrepreneur, I mean, being an entrepreneur can already be a very lonely experience, but it can feel even more isolating if you don't have a network of friends, of colleagues, professionals that really advise you, that guide you, and that support you throughout your entrepreneurial journey. So I think that, and I'm talking to all the organizations that will embark or have embarked in this kind of project, we should really see ourselves not just as service providers, but also as gatekeepers, and really work together to create opportunities and platforms for migrant entrepreneurs to access new spaces and new people. In fact, in the Enterprise for Integration project, we put great effort in developing a mentoring scheme where each entrepreneur had the opportunity to have a dedicated mentor, receive peer support on a weekly basis, but also they could access a network of professionals like lawyers, accountants, marketing, HR specialists, and so on. So people that they maybe couldn't have been able to access otherwise, and really receive a quality advice from them. And then just something that also Davide touched upon, I think another challenge remain access to funding. With our partner Soleterre, we organize several networking events, inviting the corporate sector, banks, business angels, microfinance institutions, and really trying to open up spaces for migrant entrepreneurs and giving them the opportunity to connect with the stakeholders. But I think that information and networking isn't enough, and we should really take a step forward and work with financial institutions, business angels, funds, and all those people that really believe in the potential of migrant entrepreneurs and invest in them by creating special financial schemes that take into account the peculiarities of migrant-led businesses. And then I just want to finish with a few words about COVID and how the pandemic has impacted our activities and our entrepreneurs. So these people that you see on my screen are Marco and Carolina. They participated in our program and they run a pest control business. So of course for them, COVID-19 was a blessing. But actually when the COVID-19 pandemic started, we decided to develop an online survey to understand the impact that the pandemic was having on our community of entrepreneurs and identify together new strategies and services to better support them. And so the results actually showed us that more than half of our entrepreneurs were still able to run their businesses, but 67% told us that they could continue to operate for a maximum of 6 months in that situation. Of course, a lot experienced a decrease in their revenues, and most of them had to redefine their business model. So we found out that they needed a lot of support in accessing public funding. They also requested support on business strategy and on how to digitalize their businesses and getting training on digital skills. So as a response, we as Enterprise for Integration added a number of training on these topics, on digital marketing, on social media, and in general on digital tools. We partnered with the Municipality of Milan, and we co-created a newsletter with a list of services and information our participants and for migrant-led businesses. And our participants themselves, they started to adapt their business models, really investing in online sales, in digital marketing tools, in online campaigns. Just to finish, I think in Milan, we have seen a lot of collaboration between organizations, not-for-profit organization, institutions, the municipality, and everyone who is active in the field of migrant entrepreneurship. In terms of like sharing best practices, today is an example, sharing challenges and even like participants in our activities. But I think there is definitely more work that we can do together, really complement each other's activities and work together towards building a more inclusive ecosystem where migrant entrepreneurs can thrive and can really add value to our society. So thank you, everyone, and I'll pass the floor to the next speaker.
Thank you, Olivia, for the inspiring presentation. Well, just let me remind you, should you have any question, you can write directly to me and then I collect them in order to have a Q&A session later. So we'll go through the 3 presentations and then we'll pass to the question session. Thank you. So now I'll give the floor to Armelle Ledan, who will explain us the support scheme for young migrant entrepreneurship within the YMCB project. So Armelle, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just looking at the right screen to be shared. That's it. I don't have the. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. I know we have to be quick, so I'll try to stick to the time. I have to say that what I heard so far is really interesting, and I'm really happy that we have this opportunity to exchange among organizations and projects who are trying to achieve the same objective, support migrants entrepreneurship. YMCB is a project which is funded by DG Grow under the same call than BITE. So you will see that they are very similar. We are twins, but we are unique. We are very similar, but we're different. And I will go through this. I wanted to thank Muner as well for the very inspiring speech that she made, and it's really it's really nice to have people from giving the different perspectives as well. So YMCB is implemented by 7 partners. We are coordinating the project in AEIDL, which is an organization specialized in local development in Europe. And associated to us, we have Oxfam Italy, ADECO Italy as well, ADECO in Milano, Oxfam in Firenze. We also have ZSI, which is Center for Social Innovation in Austria, responsible for the mentoring aspect, whereas ADECO is for the training and Oxfam for the outreach and selection. And in addition, we have 2 other partners, one from Poland, Microfinance Center, and the other one, QS Fine, in the Netherlands, who are dealing with the sensitive topic that you all mentioned, the challenge of accessing to funding. And I think I didn't forget anybody. Yes, Spark in the Netherlands as well, who helped with the outreach. So starting from the same objective to achieve, we took the same approach, which means that we are also doing the outreach and selection, the training and the mentoring, which are combined. And in addition, which is very important, the information about access to funding. no direct access to funding, but how to find your way into this very mad world of getting funding your business. And we're implementing this pilot in 4 countries, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, in Italy, and in Austria. So the partners are themselves, in some cases, implementing bodies, delivering the scheme. What is important for me is that it's a pilot, and it has some advantages and some and sometimes not, but that obliged us to remain always really flexible and creative, and that was useful in times of COVID. We're testing, so we allow ourselves sometimes to go a little bit, to deviate a little bit and to try something different because we're facing an issue. And sometimes I'll share that with you at the end. It gave some interesting experiment that maybe could be replicated and upscaled, which is also the objective. So that's in a nutshell. I'm going to give you the tool because I don't have the time to give you all the details about the content, but basically you have here the link to go on the website of YMCB, where you will see how we worked. Basically, to do the outreach and the selection, we had online calls to recruit mentees, trainees on one side and the managers on the other one. I have to say that the outreach, as we say, was a bit difficult because we really stick at the beginning to the newly arrived migrants. And newly arrived migrants is already a concept which is a bit vague. When are you not newly anymore? So we started, the departure was from the last migration crisis, but we realized that in some countries it was not feasible because some people were there but still not with a legal status, so they could not join the program. So we had to adapt. We also realized that sometimes this more newly population had other priorities than setting up the business, and probably before that getting the basic needs covered and through a stable revenue, even if they had an idea of creating a business. So that first phase was really challenging and at the same time very rich in terms of learning. Eventually, we recruited in the 4 countries a number of interested and potential entrepreneurs, and we created a training program with 4 modules to be delivered physically as well as online. From the very beginning, we thought the blended approach was a right one. And so we created an e-learning platform, which is there. When you connect to our website, you will see there is a big red button and it's open to all. That's why it's the title of this slide, YMCB Open for All, because all the training material is accessible to everybody. YMCB has not the intention to train in depth, opposite to what Olivia was saying, people to create a business, because it's a short-term program. It takes much longer to become an entrepreneur and to receive the right competencies and skills. It's like an induction, a bit more than an induction course, but something that will help them from where they start, these people newly arrived, to go from their idea to a little bit further and maybe to create a business, but also probably to go to another business support course, maybe a mainstream business support class, or to do some more training. So we'll see the result at the end, but we're very realistic about the fact that it's not the majority of them probably who in 6 months are going to set up their business, and unless they are already really skilled and they had one in their country. So situations are very, very heterogeneous, and that's also a key lesson. So you have access to these 4 learning modules, which are delivered in the 4 countries, in the language of the country, because we recruited trainers there. And when the COVID pandemic started, of course, we had to suspend all the classes. And so we redesigned the e-learning platform to put more online, to also ask the trainers to provide more advice and more support online. And we decided that then this material, which is also available in English, in addition to the 4 other languages, could be very useful for anybody. So that's why we decided that we would support directly those who registered in the YMCB project, but that everybody could use the material here. Okay, enough for this. So YMCB in action, I already explained a little bit the online course. Just to tell you that we faced a lot of dropouts during the COVID pandemic, and we decided to relaunch the course this summer. We recontacted everybody to see if it was still their priority or not, if they had other things. I mean, it was really, really a hectic time. And we opened the doors again to newcomers and other people who would be interested. So not restarting from scratch, but nearly. And now we are in action in the 4 countries, delivering the training and mentoring program, which is delivered very differently in the 4 countries. That's also a very important lesson, because it depends on many, many parameters, but some important ones are the profile of the mentees and trainees, these potential entrepreneurs coming from very different countries, because we did not tackle sub-Saharan Africa, for instance. So they can come from Latin America, from Asia, from Africa. So we have lots of challenges. They have more than us, but we all have some. For instance, in Italy, they are not very highly skilled. So, and they also much prefer training physically delivered. We had a quick survey, and online training is not their thing. On the contrary, in the Netherlands, the approach is totally different, and it is actually supported by an organization already providing business support in terms of training, coaching, etc., to migrant entrepreneurs and to start. So our partner decided to use this local organization, which is also really good for sustainability because it will be there after. So they combined their program with ours, and they delivered a series of webinars. They were the first ones, and they adapted, in fact, the seminars to really provide an adjusted training in terms of facing COVID times. How do you deal with your business projects, your business plans, and your business development in those very, very strange times? So this is the 2 extremes. In Belgium, it's both, and in Austria, it's also physical and online. We are also we have also adapted the mentoring component of the program. We really confirm that mentoring is a key aspect, especially on a short-term program with more online training than foreseen. The mentors is giving the human dimension, the human support, the bilateral personalized accompaniment, and that's really key. And where it's possible, we can see it makes a difference. It's working very well in Austria. It's working also very well in the Netherlands, where they experimented something which emerged actually by its own. The trainees, the young migrants who were there, discovered that they wanted to peer each other, in fact. So they created a peer mentoring, and they regularly meet online every week or every 2 weeks. So in addition to the mentors who are experienced entrepreneurs, very often retired, but also active ones, but they have less time. So that's something we wanted to, we'd like to share with you maybe later and among the projects, because it's an interesting experience. We also opened up the mentoring to all countries. If you have mentors here who want to participate and to join, even if you don't live in Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, or Austria, you're very welcome, because we have mentees who need support at the moment and they have business ideas, because you can do online mentoring and you can support them on some aspects of the business only, not on all and everything, even if you're not from the same sector. So welcome and contact us. And eventually, like everybody, the networking is key at the end. The isolation you were talking about, what I just said about the peer learning, the mutual support, all this is very, very important, as well as the networking with local organizations that can support all these programs further. Just to give you an idea with the figures, in the 4 countries, to be honest, the targets were a bit higher, but we still have 6 months to finish. I doubt we'll have more, but we had to go through the COVID pandemic as well. And so you see the last line from other countries means that people can also register and follow the training online, even if you're not in the 4 countries which are pilots. And mentors as well can join, 3 registered already. So again, welcome. I already explained this because I'm never following the slides I prepare in advance. Maybe just one thing to add is that you all explained and you all said that there's an issue about access to funding, which is probably a common issue shared with vulnerable people, I would say, who want to create a business. Maybe migrants are part of this wider target audience that we are talking, and I'd like to hear also from them. And it's true, it's a difficult thing. So 2 of our partners, Tuasfini especially, are working on this in cooperation with other projects as well. So the work they delivered is really quite exhaustive and extensive. There is a guide that will be accessible to everybody, which is explaining how to access to finance for mentors, trainers, and financial institutions. So it's not directly targeted at the trainees and the young migrants. It's more for people who are going to support them. And it's really to depict the world of access to funding. And depending on where you are, in which country, where you are in your business development time, where you are in terms of your sector and your needs, it gives you the various doors where you can knock out to find some funding, and hybrid fundings as well. I think I will stop now because I said that already. Just in conclusion, it's a very interesting and also very challenging project. It's implemented differently in the 4 countries. So I'll be happy to exchange also with my colleagues and the other coordinators, because I think what is rich also is to compare what happens and to try to exchange what seems to be working under which conditions. So we should try to do something all together at the end of this project. And thanks for giving the opportunity to join you today. And I'm happy to answer questions if you have any. And thanks again.
Many thanks, Armelle. Thank you for sharing with us the objectives and the main results of the twin project of the BITE. So, and I think we already reached one of the objectives of the webinar. So one connection has already been set. So thank you for the call for mentors that you launched, and I think there will be surely possibility of future connection between our 2 projects. So thank you. So now I'll give the floor to Maria Collini, the lead partner of the project SIMI in Fondazione Politecnico di Milano.
I hope you see. Thank you, Silvia. I hope you see my screen and my slide, and you can hear me also. Okay, great.
Yes.
So thank you for the introduction, and thank you for inviting me to this webinar that is since now very interesting for the overview of all this project happening across Europe on the same topic that, as Armelle was saying before, is a challenging topic, but I see that different projects are working on it, and is a sort of support for what we were doing in the CMIN project. I just want to go through my slides to introduce the project, to let you know what we are doing and in which framework we are doing it. So first of all, we are working in a program that is an Interreg, is Interreg Central Europe. Is a project that goes and involves a different country in an area of Europe that goes from Poland to East, what was the East Germany, Czech Republic, Austria, and this area of what was the East Europe, Northern Italy, Slovenia, and Croatia. Just to give you an idea about the country we are working with. It's a wide program with 9 countries involved, 5 priorities, and actually they're running 138 projects. We have been funded under a priority access that is innovation, and in specific on an objective that works on the improvement of skills of entrepreneur. The project has 3 years duration, and we started last year, so we are in a way running on it, but not in a further step of the project. The project comes from an idea that enterprises with migrant backgrounds represent an important pool of entrepreneurs in European cities, and in particular in Central Europe cities. But they have, of course, a challenge to tackle that you already mentioned in your previous presentation regarding the lack of managerial skill, difficulties to enter the market, and the local network, and of course all the financial, linguistic, cultural, and legal obstacles that, of course, are obstacles that stop a bit the business and the competitiveness of this kind of entrepreneur. So what we'd like to do in our project is to improve and to tackle this weakness and to make this kind of enterprises more competitive on the market sector they're working on. So in order to support them to become as significant on their business market as the already existing enterprises. So to reinforce their role, and also to promote what we call a social cohesion, meaning that this kind of enterprises guided by migrants should not be seen as different enterprises as from the others already on the market and run by natives. So this is another of the object of the project, to work on the entrepreneurship and their competitiveness, and to be considered as enterprises as all the others in the country where they are settled. That said, just a few facts about the project, the partners. We have 10 partners from different backgrounds: research institute, public administration, business support organization, economy network, and so on, from 5 countries. There are 3 partners in Italy, 3 partners in Slovenia, 1 partner in Croatia, 1 partner in Germany, and 2 partners in Hungary. Well, that is to give you an idea about the partner and their, the name of the partner and their location. I have to say that, well, we are in a time where 2 partners are leaving the project and 2 partners are entering the project. So not all these partners will remain in the end of the project. That was the initial situation till, let's say, 15 days ago, but now we are in a change phase, but the main partners are still there. And as we are in Italy, I have to mention the 3 Italian partners, of course, Fondazione Politecnico di Milano that is leading, the Comune di Milano that Silvia already talked about, and the Gruppo Cooperativo CGM that is a network of social enterprises that wants to open its partnership to other kind of enterprises. What we planned to do, we have 3 main objectives. That is, as I was saying, enhance the entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurial potential of people with migrant backgrounds. So really working on their entrepreneur potential. To promote mutual learning and exchange between local enterprises and enterprises with migrant backgrounds, and also to establish and to open the local network to this kind of enterprises. And another aspect we had as objective is to encourage the social cohesion in cities. When we planned this project, we saw that most of these enterprises are settled in the cities, and that is a fertile environment for there to grow. So that is why we'd like to work with enterprises and the people living in the city to match them. This slide just gives you an idea about how we're working. We did an analysis phase. We are working on the framework. We will develop an hub and pilot action, and we will deliver business and training opportunities. But let me go to this slide that gives you the idea about the project structure and what we are doing. So starting from the analysis that we closed a few months ago, we define the main objectives of the project for the entrepreneur. So we worked with them with meetings and also with the stakeholder in the different countries, and we come out with some topic that has to be reinforced and supported by the project. Regarding the competencies of the enterprises, the innovation action that we can deliver to them, and so we define which are the services that the platform that we call intercultural hub will provide to these enterprises. This intercultural hub will be a platform, and we will test it directly with the enterprises. In order to, as I always say, this project as a sort of experiment. So testing the platform that will last over the project end will help us to deliver a final product that should be very close to the enterprise's need. And that's why this step of testing it with the enterprises themselves is a very important part of the project. What we meant to have on the platform and in pair with the platform is also what we call a digital learning path, meaning support and tools to through which the entrepreneur can train themselves, and that they will deliver online, and we will also deliver the webinars as a way to confirm that mutual learning I was talking before. And a second aspect that we'd like to work on is what we call meet the business. meaning again creating contact with established entrepreneur and entrepreneur with migrant background, and to help them to get in touch with the local system and local networks, working together also. So these three main activities, the intercultural incubator hub, the B2B learning experience, and digital learning will help us to focus on these three objectives, and also to create a network with a local ecosystem. Regarding the activities we are planning to do and that will help us to reach this objective and to reach this support to the entrepreneur, they are mainly shown in this slide. So we will organize collective mentoring. We will search for success stories that can be inspiring for the migrants enterprises we are working with. We will organize at least one transnational seminar in which they can meet and exchange experience in different countries. We will provide materials, info clip, and webinars, again to offer them a platform to exchange experience and to work together and to find mutual support. We will organize B2B meetings with what we call established enterprises, meaning enterprises run by natives of the different countries. And then there's two other activities we planned to run, and one is the participation to local and international events with the migrants entrepreneur, meaning bringing them somehow to this kind of events. Just to mention one of them, in our idea, one of them was the Salone del Mobile, that for those who are in Milan, but not only, is very well known. Of course, the situation is changing, so we will have to replan these activities because of the COVID. Of course, we cannot plan this kind of participation, and we are thinking of new ideas and new creative ideas to, let's say, bypass this plan. Staying on the COVID and on what we did to support the enterprises during the COVID, we give them mainly suggestions, online suggestions on webinars to follow, and material that can support their path, their learning path during this month. I have to say that the project and the COVID affect the project in a very unkind moment, because we were ready to start the real phase with the migrants entrepreneur, to work strictly with closely with them, and of course the COVID stopped us a bit on this path, because we still don't have, we have a network of migrant entrepreneurs, but it's not very very consolidated. So that's why we gave them this suggestion online, but we have to still find a closer link with them. Then I just want to show you what is the newest activities we are working on, and is this what we call the hub mockup, so the platform mockup. It will be divided in different parts that you can see here in the list. That there will be the services we will provide for this platform, and to which the entrepreneur will be able to access. One of them is the learning partner, learning part that I mentioned before, where they can find material and suggestion to other webinars, MOOC, and through which they will follow our webinar. We will also provide an assessment questionnaire in order to help them to choose in which service they need more, and so in which part of the platform it's better for them to look for. And this is other two parts. One is the regional info, in which they will find sub-part linked to legislation, financial, or and so on. So this will be the first. It's really the first presentation we did. We do about this mock-up because, of course, we believe that, as someone was mentioning before, the technologies are a tool for the enterprises to grow. And of course, they need to be skilled on how to use them. So through this hub, it's also an opportunity for them to use these technologies that are there, and especially in this moment in which we cannot meet very often, is a great opportunities. Just one last thing about this platform: it will be multi-language, so the entrepreneur from the countries we are working with will find information in the language of the country they are settled, because we believe that, of course, already learning a language and working in a country that is not their own, it's already difficult. And at least, as Olivia was saying before, that they're selecting enterprises that has a good knowledge of Italian. We believe that the enterprises that are working in our project should have at least a good level of the language in the country they are. So providing the platform in local languages can help them to grow their business and their competitiveness. That's more or less all by my side. Now, one more information about during the COVID, we deliver a newsletter with information of service and call that are open and that can help the enterprises to overcome the crisis. That is something we did as partner. We did it in Italy, and soon we will deliver a webinar to explain and to go deeper in detail in this call and opportunities that are open at local level. Finally, we have a website, a Facebook page, and a LinkedIn page. So if you want to have more information about the project or to follow us, those are the link you can follow. That's all by my side. Of course, I'm open to question and to provide more information about the project.
Thank you, Maria Cristina. I would like to ask you if you have any question about the three projects, but also should you have any other questions related to session 1 and session 2, please feel free to do it and take the floor.
Yeah, please, I'd like to ask you. Am I on? Yes. Can I go on?
Yes,
yeah.
Sure. Please.
Thanks. And when Mona was making her presentation, she said something on the which I really want to that really brought this thing that I want to talk about. I remember she mentioned something about immigrant from Africa, I've forgotten the exact way she put it, but, the immigrants and at times, they may not really have some level of education. She mentioned something like that. But I have a kind of a different experience. I am in Slovenia and I'm a student. I'm studying here now. And I have this experience with with some immigrants, that I met here in Slovenia and even also in Italy. That are just friends that we just met. They asked me, "What are you doing?" I told them, "I'm here as a student." This, that, we talked. I discovered one thing: they really wish, they really have interest in studying. They have this passion. They have this willingness. I discovered that they really need someone to inspire them, someone to encourage them, someone to enlighten them, and so on and so forth. And that has really brought a kind of desire within me, to have this educational entrepreneurship. But I really don't know how to go about that. I don't know, maybe I may need a mentor. I don't know if this is like a general question now thrown to everybody. If I could have a platform in which I could just have mentor that could really guide me in this aspect, I will really appreciate it. So this is all about what I want to say now.
Muner, I don't know if you want to answer and take the floor. Muner? I don't know if there are maybe any other question, and then we can ask Muner later to reply.
This is Davide, Silvia. I don't know if there are no other questions. I may make comments if there is just for a moment.
Sure.
Or maybe Muner, she can reply first to Roland, and then I will go. Since Roland, he was referring to Muner. I don't know if you want to get back to Roland, Muner first, and then I will make comments maybe.
Well, I think anybody can answer, I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
But if there's anyone that here, had me when I was talking and that I understood could really go ahead, to at least give me, it really reply. But my question is just like I'm asking for a situation whereby I could just have people like a mentor that could really mentor me to become a educational entrepreneurial. In entrepreneurship, educational entrepreneurship, this is what, because here in Slovenia, I've met few people, they really have interest to study. So how can I go about this? So this is what my question is all about.
Can I answer you?
Yeah.
Yes. And I just jumped on that question because I'm in the educational field, and I had been tutoring also teachers. So I'm a special teacher in the university. And when it becomes to education, in fact, we have been doing that because entrepreneurship in education is very, very popular now in Sweden, because there are very many young entrepreneurs who want to get some mentor on how they can go on with their studies to become, to go in that field, education-wise. And I think I can share with you a little later, maybe I'll share with you a kind of a map road that we have made, if it would be any help for you. And if you could try to find somebody like that, maybe in the country where you are. It's just a little roadmap that my company has done for students from all over the world who are new in Sweden, and how they can continue with their studies in both university, practically and theoretically.
Can I ask you a question, Roland?
Okay.
Just to be sure I understand your question. You're a student at the moment.
Yes, PhD student.
Okay. Do you have a business idea? Do you want to create your business?
Yes, I have that, but I am thinking maybe that will be when I will be through with my study.
Okay, so what you're looking for is when you say a mentor, you're looking for someone to give you advice on how to go forward, how to move forward. What is better? Is it to carry on with studies, to do studies more professionally on business support, to create your business, to go into an incubator? It's someone to guide you into your educational path.
No, but I am talking about how I can really become a kind of inspirer, to people that I saw here that are migrants, that are willing to study. So how I can just become in the position now to really inspire them, talk with them from my experience, from what as an educationist, how I can just really impart to their life to encourage them. Because I even discovered that there are some programs meant for, even with scholarship, for for migrants. But with my little experience, none of them here in Slovenia exploit. I just have one or two things. So this is what I'm talking about. If I could just be in a position to really go into this aspect of enlightening the migrants know about for people that really have interest to study, just to encourage them because they want to study to the school and so on and so forth. So this is precisely what I'm talking about.
Okay, that's very nice. To the desire to be a model and to share your experience with the others and to help them. I think all the projects here are very connected to business creation. So if you want to be, we all have spaces to tell the stories of people like you who are models, who can be inspirational to the others. So that is already one option. But if you want to really also talk to people who are students, not only the future business people, I'm sure you can also find other programs and projects where they use role models, as we say. I have none in mind now because I'm more focused on entrepreneurship. But I can think about that and let you know.
Okay, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you. If I may add just a brief consideration, since there are quite a wide network at the moment of people, colleagues, and institutions working on the same level, supporting migrant businesses throughout Europe, already by quite good network. Then we got Armelle with a good network, and we've heard from Olivia Spazzini with SINGA, and the colleagues and Cristina from Fondazione Politecnico and CME, and all of the other colleagues around. I've seen Klaus Molina was connecting before, and I've read a super interesting report yesterday on access to finance for migrant entrepreneurship. So there's a pretty good network around Europe working with different tools and instruments, but we're facing common challenges at the moment. One of these is access to finance, and I believe it could be, if everybody agrees, and of course we can talk about that, it could be the proper time to coordinate and to see whether we can set up a European platform with common instruments and tools throughout Europe, around Europe, so that we can scale up the potential of these businesses. Because one of the big challenges is that to access finance is that each business is too small to access funds, and even small pipelines of funds of businesses is too small. But if we can set up a common platform, then we can go and talk to larger funds and to both private and private sector, public and private sector, and address a common issue. But we do need to have a common voice to talk to them. So my proposal tonight will be, if we agree, we can organize a meeting and see what could be the next step to coordinate all our efforts on the same way. So we're very grateful to the European Commission, and I've seen the representative of the DG Grow participating, so thank you very much to them. So I think it would be great if we could coordinate and talk to them and to other institutions around Europe with a common proposal. Thank you very much to all of you. I will leave the floor to Luca Menotta for the closing remarks. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Davide, and thank everyone for taking part in this webinar. Originally, this webinar was supposed to be the closing webinar, not only of the BITE project, but it also ended up being like a nice opportunity, as Davide rightfully pointed out, to build connections and to give outline different nuances there are behind migrant entrepreneurship as a policy field, but also as a practice field. So I think that having this many such a variety of speakers meant that we definitely hit the mark. I invite all of you to check out the toolbox that resulted from the BITE project. I think the link has already been shared in the chat room, but we will make sure that the links will once again be circulated after this event. It is our toolbox, or if you will, a handbook, is aimed at local authorities and civil society organizations who have been or are willing to launch migrant entrepreneurship programs and projects, and it takes stock directly of the practice that was developed and modeled throughout the 2 years of the project. So I invite you to check it out, both on our website and in the email that will be circulated after this event. With that being said, I would like to thank all the speakers for taking the time to be here and to make some wonderful presentations. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the BITE partners. So beyond the ISMO Foundation, E4 Impact Foundation, Etimos Foundation, Comune di Milano, ERFC, and Integra. And a special thank also to ISMO Communication Officer Giulia Landi, without whom nothing of this webinar would have ever been possible. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to see you online or in other networking opportunities.
Luca, just one thing from me. Following up the discussion that Davide put, for the European platform, and given that the Commission is listening here, we would like to add the crowdfunding possibilities, what exist, and especially nowadays that we are talking about a huge amount of cryptocurrencies that they circulate into the system, back to crowdfunding inside the European planning of the budget, given that access to finance is really so crucial.
Thank you. And with that being said, I officially close this webinar. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.